Hi guys, it's the Technical Critic, and I'm going to review the beginning, part 1 of Legend of Korra Season 2, Episode 7. And if you're wondering why I'm not sitting in my computer room, well, I wanted to change the scenery. So, my initial reaction to this particular episode was, meh, that was interesting. Uh, you'll notice I didn't post my reactions video. Normally I post two videos, this critique and my raw reaction as I watch the episode. So you'll see me laugh, you'll see me curse, you'll see me flip out over the twists, you'll see me get really angry at the episode. But I didn't do it this time because literally the entire episode, the entire video, it's basically just this. That's it. That's all I do because there are no jokes for me to laugh at. If there are very few, and I'm like, oh, okay, that was funny. There's no twists. There's no twists whatsoever. There's basically only two things that you need to know about this episode. The first one is that the first avatar, Wan, is the reason that there's imbalance in the world because 100,000 years ago, he let this evil spirit get away from this good spirit, and now the evil spirit is wreaking havoc everywhere. And number two, you learn that Korra is infected by that same evil spirit. You know that gigantic squid that popped out of the water 2 episodes ago and swallowed her whole, like Jonah and the whale? That is the same spirit that 100,000 years ago escaped, and now it's trying to kill her. And in order for her to not be killed, she has to find this female avatar and reconnect with that one to form us to be able to fight the evil spirit. If I don't know the name of the avatar she needs to find, I there was so much going there was so much going on in that episode that I literally could not remember. Uh, but if you remember back to the second episode of this season, where when Korra opens the spirit portal, that statue that the little girl is looking at, the one that lights up, that's the avatar she needs to find. So basically, I'm going to spoil this episode because it's the only way I can review it. Basically, this entire episode is okay. They find out that there's an evil spirit in Korra. They lower her. The fire sages lower her into this magic pool of water. Korra enters the spirit world, but she still doesn't know who she is. She talks with the previous avatars. Okay, you need to find out who. You need to find this particular avatar and reconnect with them spiritually. Otherwise, the cycle is going to break. Blah blah blah. She turns around. There's this guy standing there. She's like, "Are you the avatar I need to find?" No, they just said you had to find a woman. That's a man, obviously. So he's like, "No, I'm Juan. I'm the first avatar." And then it's just his entire backstory. I'm sorry, let me rephrase that. The first half of his entire backstory. And while it was interesting to watch and to learn about, I don't think this is the way they should have done it. Because what you end up with is an episode that feels almost like it's setting up for something, but it feels like a lot of filler. I mean, you're learning about stuff, you're seeing the spirits, but you're not learning about stuff that's happening right now. You're learning about stuff that happened in the past. And that's nice and all, but what does that have to do with what's happening right now? I mean, we see the spirits that the first Avatar interacted with. They're all great designs. I mean, some of them are cute, some of them are hilarious. There's this kind of like half lemur, half man one. There's this one that looks like a buff carrot. They're pretty cool. But these are not spirits that you're interacting with. These are just these are the side characters to a side character, and they're interesting to look at, but you really feel that they're disconnected from the main story. If they had Juan and Korra, if Juan had done like a very quick introduction, like, "Hey, I'm the first Avatar. Uh, this like this is where I was born. This is where I came from. and this is how long ago I lived, that's fine. If they start to journey through the spirit world, and we start to see different spirits, and we get Korra start to question different things, and then Juan goes into his backstory. Well, the spirits were like this when I met them. Here's how he met the spirits. Here's what happened, and we get the backstory via flashback. I'm not I'm not saying that it should be that this should be that basically Christopher Nolan should have directed this episode, but I feel that we could have used the backstory. We could have done that backstory in such a different way, and it would have improved the quality of the episode. Instead, this feels like a filler episode. And guess what, ladies and gentlemen? We have another one of these because this is just the beginning part 1. The beginning part 2 is yet to come. There's not much else to say, really. I mean, I enjoyed the episode, but... And I want to see what happens next. I really do. I want to know more about this Juan character. Because we're clearly setting him up because he's going to be important, so we need to know about him. I want to know more about him, but I also want to see the story that we're supposed to be focusing on move forward. The storyboard was very interesting. It was very 90s Oriental cartoonish. And for the people who don't understand what those words mean, in the 90s, how do I explain this? I'm in Canada, which means that we don't have the same networks that you guys do. When I was a kid growing up in the 90s, we had a network called Teletoon. It's still around. And they used to show in between TV shows, they used to show fables and fantasies, all that different kind of stuff. Like they did one with what is it? They would do all sorts, but I remember one in particular that it was about this toad and all these other different animals, and the gods are playing a game of checkers. The god of drought is playing a game of checkers with the god of water, and every time he loses like a different body of water. Like he'll lose once, all the rivers will dry up. He'll lose again, all the lakes will dry up. Eventually, the ocean dries up. So they have to go up, and they have to trick Lady Drought into giving back all the water. They do. It rains. Everything's fine. That's the storyboard that it reminds me of. It's a very Eastern Oriental style, and it's good because it differentiates the fact that, okay, this is not the main story that we're going with. This is the side story, or the backstory, I should say, of this new side character that we're being introduced to. It's a very retro look, and it's appropriate because we're talking about the first Avatar, who's much older than Korra. So I enjoyed that immensely. Yeah, I think that's it. I think that's all I want to talk about. The storyboard looked great. The characters look fantastic. I just wish that they'd done this in a different way. I'm interested to see what happens next. So I guess I'll see you guys in the next review. Talk to you later.